G'day everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse Marine, Sweet Street at Warners Bay, your Newcastle Honda marine dealer. And of course, one of the most common questions asked, guys, do we service other engines? Of course we do. Not only Honda, Mercury's, Yamahas, Tohatsus, Mariners. So if you've got any problems with your outboard motors or need any servicing done, just give us a call. Our number, of course, 4945 2152. Today being Thursday, a long weekend, as we spoke about last week. Absolutely howling down here, Ellie Barnes, probably blowing 25 knots or better. So, what do we look forward to over the long weekend period? This wind by this afternoon, with a bit of luck, will abate. Friday into Saturday, you've got south-southeast winds, guys. Not too bad, I don't think. And then, of course, Sunday into Monday, northwest to northwest by Monday, and temperatures again jumping back up to 30 degrees. So it doesn't look too bad. Your next full moon phase, of course, is Tuesday night. Tides for this weekend, which are really important for Saturday. The high tide in the morning and the afternoon, 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. with around about 11:35 low tide on Saturday morning. So what you're going to see, guys, we're just going through this transition. The last week, you've had very big low tides. The low tides have been sort of like 0.8 of a low tide, so you're only seeing 300 mil at best difference between tidal shifts. This is typical of this time of the year after the equinox, where we're now, as we start to head into next week on that full moon, we start to get our big high tides back in the morning. And a good example of that is next Tuesday morning around about 9 o'clock, we've got a 1.8 high tide in the morning and a 1.77 in the evening. So that will then shift and we'll be back to our summer tide. So something to think about, particularly when you're fishing in the estuary and or offshore with those bigger tides. Now, if you're going to get out wide, had a look at the sea surface charts this morning, it looks real good. It looks southern canyons to the mid canyons. It looks like the zero line is coming through. You've got a slight uphill current and you've got a downhill current coming through. Definitely there'll be striped marlin out there, guys. No doubt, just a bit out further, you'll be thinking there's still a few yellowfin tuna around, but it looks very, very good for anyone going out to the shelf. There are plenty of striped marlin coastally, and if you're going to travel down the south coast, there are certainly plenty of yellowfin and big albacore down off Burmese, from what I understand. You're going to go offshore and you're going to fish the farm. Again, I think maybe Saturday, with that shifting around of the wind and into that south-southeast, you'll probably be able to get down to Texas, because I don't think we're going to get a big swell out of that wind. Definitely King's still down there, and that'll continue at least for the next month. And if you want to come back up onto the farm, it's worthwhile having a bit of a look for a few reds, and no doubt it's going to be worthwhile to have a bit of a troll, possibly for a striped marlin. Inshore, flathead, trevally, a few reds. It's typical at this time of year, a few mowies. So it's the sort of species, guys, which are going to make up the catch, opposed to just catching, you know, prime fish. And even though I think snapper is one of the better fish to eat, that is for sure and certain. But it's not too bad, but it's just September, October theme makes it tough for offshore. The water temperature just has not come up as yet. It's still hovering 18 to 19, but we just need that little bit of an increase. You're going to fish the beaches. I think those westerly winds definitely on Sunday and into Monday would be damn perfect. Salmon, the odd tailer, a few brim, no whiting yet, but I don't reckon we're going to be too far away. Now the estuary is where it's at, and this time of year for sure we're starting to see a few whiting on the flats, but brim in particular and flathead. And for a number of weeks now we've talked about these flathead coming into the shallow water. I got a message then from one of our good friends, Gavin, who does a lot of shore-based fishing, and Gav keeps me updated. He got a beautiful cobia there earlier in the year on a medal in Swansea Channel. Some absolutely cracking fish off the shore, and he'd be lucky to be fishing in a metre of water. He released a flathead about 88 centimetres, lost another big one in the high 70s, another fish around 68 which he took home, a couple of smaller fish, flounder, whiting, but all in the shallow water. So I think this week, particularly with those tides and those tides building in for the second week of the school holidays, stay in and around. There's a lot of very good fish, shore-based, and in that shallow water. We're seeing some really nice bream. Definitely, I know Randall Mason had a fish this week. I seen his report. He got a real mixture of fish out of the estuary itself. He had small reds and some big bream up to about 40 centimetres and flathead. There's still the odd salmon and a few tailor still getting around, but there's some really good mulloway in the estuary, no doubt. Reports coming in for some big shore-based ones, but I definitely know our good mate Justin Worley got a nice one yesterday afternoon, so some really nice mulloway as we now build in to this full moon. There's still plenty of opportunity out there if you want to put a few crab pots in with that school holidays, and I think that if you think about it, 10 nights after the full moon, so full moon next Tuesday night, put 10 nights behind that, and we will see our first prawn run in the middle of October. All in all, guys, you've got to play it safe. I think the rocks on Saturday won't be too bad, but definitely Sunday, Monday with those westerlies will be ideal. But again, take some caution with those bigger tides. The wind won't be here tomorrow. It'll be a little bit of southwest with a bit of luck. Be careful if you're travelling, and I'll see you next week.